And here we go. All right, so Shalom Yahweh Shim Yahweh Barakatah to everybody watching, to all the Akim, to all the Aqua watching. I appreciate you tuning into the show. I got a great show today. I am on the ISUPK Latino America on the YouTube channel, which is my new channel on YouTube. And you can go on in there. I have a chat there, room also for you to come on in and check it out. I'll be showing the video on that room too, also on Facebook, because what I'm going to touch on today is really something that's going to hit the heart, man. I mean, you gotta have a heart to be able to understand that what you're about to watch is a true story that happened to the people, the children of Israel, from 1970 to 1989. And if you have not seen this or you do not know about this, this is a tragedy that happened to my Chilean people, or the tribe of Naphtali. And it's important that we bring it up because this is definitely something that all of us need to really focus on and see what happened to our people and recognize that this is why we are the children of Israel. I'm going to say thanks to Barzal for watching, Regal, for Jonathan, for Gad Brewer, Donnie Ray for watching, Kazad Banath. I know I got some more folks here watching. Fat God. Oh, of course. Warak UPK. Oh, Shalom, sis. And let me see. Bawan Banyan, Bayan Asha, Rob Mayan, thanks for watching. Travoris, Yahawada Danzi, thanks, man. Sama, Justin, thanks for watching. Vegas McDowell, Edward, Derek, and Sabella. Man, Anaya, One West, Arataza, Yeshaya. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching the show. Stay close, man. I'm gonna have some real great stuff here, and I'm gonna be showing some. I'm gonna be showing some video. You're gonna be watching some video today, and this video is gonna be real interesting. You know, man, try not to shed a tear. You know, be strong for what you're going to watch, because this is definitely something that's going to take you out. So first of all, of course, we're going to go to the Bible. If you got your Bible, grab it. I'm going to bring out a couple of verses out of it to prove that this is what happens to our people, and that the Bible pretty much, you know, nailed it when it says who we are and how we know who we were going to be. And there's a lot of people out there who say, oh, you know, the Mexicans aren't Israelites, you know, because they're not black. But of course, you know, we know what the real history is, right? Israel is a cake unturned, right? Of course. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy 28 and 29, and I'm going to start my my subject right here, Deuteronomy 28 and 29. And this is going to go because of my people of Chile, my Chilean people. My heart goes out to all these people who survived this Holocaust, who survived this tragedy in the time when the world as a whole shut the door on these people and ignored what they were going through. When America went into Chile and implemented their government through government into a country that was a peaceful country that had no ties nonsense that they were dealing with. But of course, America went in there and set up a government that destroyed the people. And that's what today in our country, the government is set to destroy Native Indians. That's why the Indians live on the reservations, correct? We all know that. They live on the reservations because that's the way America wants them to be. Black people live with are hard to get jobs, live without jobs, live in a condition below, you know, what is it, below, you know, the standard of living. Why? Because they want us to have us there, you know. Us Mexicans, we struggle 2-3 jobs. Most of us Mexicans have 2-3 jobs. Why? Because we're trying to survive. Because that's, you know, it's difficult for us to make it happen. You know, I know a lot of you are on my Facebook and you see some of the videos I post of my people. You know, they're hardworking people. And even though people look at us and say, well, you guys got it good. No, man, we're at work all day long. We don't see our families. You know, we come home at 11, 12, you know, 1 o'clock in the evening, and our kids are asleep. You know, we get up early in the morning to go do our job. Our wives do that. Our moms do that. Our aunts do that. You know, they're rarely at home. Why? Because we have to sustain a job. There's, you know, 3, 4, 5 families in the home, or, you know, multiple families in the home. Why? Because we're trying to survive. But that's the way the system is set up for Israel, that we barely make it, that we barely survive, that we struggle in this country to even get by. You know what I mean? In a country that was our own, in a country that was we survived. The Black, the Hispanic, the Native Indian, we all are going through this. We all, you know, we should all look at each other and recognize that we have a common enemy, and the common enemy has done that to us throughout since 1492. I'm not going to say throughout, since 1492, we have been in a struggle, and it's time that, you know what, and as people unite with nonsense of colors or gangs or differences, we have to realize that going through the same struggle. No es nada diferente para ninguno de nosotros. Todos estamos batallando con el mismo enemigo. Es tiempo que reconozcamos que los negros, los hispanos y el indio americano, todos tenemos el mismo problema. Tenemos el enemigo común que nos tiene en esta situación desde el 1400, más sean en cualquier país, es lo mismo. México and right? Chile, El Salvador, and this is something by the Palestinians. They got Palestinian politicians in El Salvador. Isn't the problem with its wars? A country in there that holds the Palestinian people in chains. You know what? These guys that are going to run for president, he's Palestinian from El Salvador. Palestinians went in there and created this Isupk, the Revolutionary Party, but they were the ones manipulating the party. Recently, this guy that's about to jump as president, he turned his back against the ECLN, you know, and started talking about the lawyer of the STRUGGLE, talking down on her and making her look bad. Because why? Because they're trying to separate this this party. They're trying to make it look like the enemy. He's going to run for president, and what does he take? He takes the majority of everything. That's why the Palestinians run El Salvador. El Salvador no es de la gente salvadoreña. El Salvador es de los palestinos. Ellos son los que tienen el control del Salvador. And this is a truth, you know, and a lot of people don't know this. Why? Because we're wrapped up on our bills here in America. You know, even Mexican people, we go back to Mexico in our nice trucks, 20-inch rims, 20-inch wheels, bumping sound system, to what? To our people. And they're proud of us. They're like, wow, my cousin, we leave. They're right back to living the way they've lived. You know, that happiness, man, we leave them in a situation. I mean, it's we're seeing more taking care of simple, the army, be all that you can. You know, how can we help each other, not only financially, spiritually, but also mentally? You know what I mean? We want to help each other. We want to be able to make a move, and it's going to take a lot, because we've come from a background of education where it's been, you can better yourself, you know, make your money, get out, get your house, get your car. But you look back and your parents are, you know, they're not doing so well. You know, they're barely making their rent. They're barely making their you know, their bills, while you're living large. You know, your family is not living so well. And we're doing the same when we look at our people in Mexico. Our people in Mexico aren't doing so well. You know, blacks here in America, same thing. Blacks, you know, they go out and make this money and they give a little bit to their people, but they're living large. But how about your people, man? Why aren't your people coming up with you? How come we can't come up as a nation as a whole? Why do we always have to, you know, look back and be better than someone else? You know, there's got to be a level playing ground. Some people say, well, that's socialism. No, it's not socialism. It's common sense. Bring your brother with you. You know what I'm saying? Bring your family with you. And if not, then don't live that way. You know, live along with them. Live amongst them, not live away from them. You know what I'm saying? So that would be like my message. So let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 29, and we'll start off like this. And that shall grow at noonday. Right? When you see right now what I'm about to show you, these Chilean people, We're going through this all day long. Like when you look forward to coming home from your job because things are going to be better at the house, you're going to be able to relax. They had no sense of time. There was not a certain time of the day when they were going to go home and things were going to be all right. There was no certain time of the day when they were going to either go to work and come back and chill. That was not a possibility for them. It says, thou shalt grope at noonday. Their groping was throughout from the moment they woke up to the moment they try to go to sleep, because I'm pretty sure they couldn't even sleep through what they were going through. And they continue to say, as the blind gropeth in darkness. Now, as the blind gropeth in darkness, you know what that is. When you close your eyes and you can't see nothing, you know, darkness, like, you know, what can you possibly do, right? And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. The Chilean people did not prosper while this thing was going on with them. Today, Latin America has not prospered. Today, South America has not prospered. Mexico has not prospered. We're all going through the same thing because why? Our countries are not run by our people. Our country are run by foreigners who have come in, taken our land, taken our natural resources, taken our labor, our force, and have put us to work for their own profit. And as for us, we linger. We've been lingering. We are those people that have not been able to surpass all that's been done to us. So it's a tough one, right? But you know what? That's why we're here. That's why the ISUPK is here, because we're going to wake our people up to the reality of what's happening to our folks. And we're going to wake our people up and bring that spirit back. Es importante que todos sepamos que esta es la situación en la que está nuestra gente. Esta es la situación en que vemos todo nuestro país, nuestros hermanos, nuestras hermanas, y que nosotros tenemos que hablar para que podamos enseñar a la siguiente generación a que ellos también levanten una voz que va a hacer cambio para todas las generaciones después de nosotros. It continues saying, and thou shalt be only oppressed. Thou shalt be only oppressed. Let me tell you something. Déjate digo algo. Nuestra gente, así como nos dice el libro de Deuteronomio 28 y 29, nuestra gente nomás va a ser oprimida. No importa lo que tú tengas, no importa cómo te sientas o la situación que estás, siempre estás tú oprimido. ¿Cómo lo sé yo? Porque mucha gente piensa, pues yo tengo negocio, yo tengo casa, yo tengo carro. El día que tú dejes o se te olvide pagar uno de tus biles, van a venir aquí y te van a quitar lo que tú tienes. Van a estar sobre de ti, te van a pagar tu luz, te van a pagar tu gas, quitar tu carro, porque tú dejaste de hacer un pago. Y a ti no te dan lo que le dicen extra time, ¿verdad? A los güeros les dan tiempo extra, a ti no te dan ese tiempo. Ellos quieren su pago inmediato. And what I'm saying to my people is that those people who think they have a business, they have a car, they have a house, they're like, well, you know what? At least I have something. Let me tell you something. The day you stop paying your water bill, they're going to shut your water bill, and they're not going to come and tell you, well, okay, I'm going to give you another chance. You know, most of the time they come and shut you down. You know, man, they're going to be on you, and they're going to tax you, and they're going to make it difficult for you to be on there. How do I know that? Because I can look at my neighborhoods right now in Boyle Heights, and I see how my people are being gentrified, how they're being pushed out of the neighborhood by the rise of bills, by the rise of electric, water, and utility bills in their areas. And they're losing their properties. They're losing their homes. Their cars are being taken because I couldn't make the payment. How come you couldn't make the payment on the ride? Very simple. Because you know what? You got to pay that water bill, because you got to pay that electric bill. And that's being hyped. It's being brought up. In my neighborhood in California, we see the rise of everything. The cost of living has gone up so ridiculously that it's hard to maintain. You know, you got to have those 2-3 jobs to be able to survive. And even though people say, no, it's easy, man, all you got to do is work hard. Mexicans have worked hard since the day they've come to America. And you know what? We're still in the same condition that we're in. And we're the hardest working people there is. La gente y la raza mexicana es la gente más trabajadora que hay. ¿Y saben qué? De todos modos batallamos. Hay gente que llega aquí de otros países y en una cerrada de hojas ya andan sus carros nuevecitos, sus casononas, y nosotros, teniendo 5 o 6 generaciones aquí, seguimos batallando por lo mismo, que no podemos salir adelante. uno no sabe la realidad de esto hasta que el día que no te dan la cachetada y te pasa a ti es cuando te das cuenta que eso es la verdad. Uno no sabe lo que es hasta que no te toca tu puerta. When you start learning that this is going to knock on your door real soon and that you're going to have a hard time paying that bill, keeping that business, keeping that car, keeping that house, man, you think you're on Money Street till the day that comes to your door. And then things change. Man, I know I was there. Let me continue. And that shall be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. Nuestra gente está perdida. We're spoiled, man. We no longer can get out. No matter what we do, man, it seems like we're always coming short of getting out of the situation that we're in. And our American Indian brothers, man, I wish they were in the condition that we were in, because you know what? They're far worse than we are. And you know, if you think about it, they were the first ones to go through what's happening. You know, first it was the Indians, then it was the blacks. Right now it's the Mexicans. I guarantee you that we're gonna land in the same condition as the blacks and the native Indians in no time. It's just a matter of time till they see us as, and they already see us like that, right? But they see us in a state of just pushing us into an area where, you know what, if you want to come out of that area and work, fine, but don't mix with these cultures. They're going to kick us out of our areas. You know, they're going to gentrify our neighborhoods, and they're going to push us out into the desert, because that's what they're doing in California. And it says, and no man shall save thee. And with that, I'm going to go into my first video. No man shall save thee. I'm going to show you how the Chilean people went through an atrocity so bad that, man, it's hard to say that anybody could come to these people's rescue, right? It's hard to say that anybody even cared for what was happening to them. You know, where does it come from? Where does somebody's heart it actually, you know, who has the heart to do something like this? So let me go ahead here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring out the first one, okay? And I want you guys just to check this out. And I'm going to show this video. It's in Spanish, so I'm going to translate a lot of it for you can understand what's going on. But I'm going to make sure that you stay tuned to what's happening here. So this, what I'm about to show you, is a documentary of a brother that sent it to me, because I was doing some research on Chile, and I ran into this brother, and he was like, man, you need to see this one right here. So I jumped on this, and man, it changed me a lot, and I hope that it does the same for all my brothers watching right now. So let me get a kickstart on it, and don't worry, I'm gonna be talking about it. These are the people in Chile, right? And this is in the early 70s. And these are the Chilean police that was implemented into that country. And this is what we're seeing in Venezuela today. And this is something a lot of people didn't see in America, because you know what, they forbid. Actually, the documentary is called Forbidden Footage, because no one was able to see this footage. That's that devil right there, the French Pinochet. They were killing, what he's talking about is they were killing the newspaper people that were covering the events. So I'm going to stop it for a second here to fill you in on what's going on here real quick, okay? So you guys can get an idea and just fill you in. So what we're seeing here is that the Chilean government went into power. Pinochet, who put them into power, was the United States. They helped to bring Pinochet into power in that time. They did this on purpose because they were suppressing. They were suppressing one of the Allende. His name was Allende. He was the Chilean president. His name was Allende. Allende was loved by the people. He was loved wanted to give back the farmland and put it back to the people. And the American government decided that that couldn't happen. The resources and everything that was coming out of Chile belonged to the American government or the corporations, because it's not really the government, it's the corporations. The police that you see there is a police force that was created in Panama. The Panamanians, they had a School of the Americas, it was called. The School of the Americas was like a military base where they were training police how to oppress people in different countries. So what they did is they trained the police in Panama, and then they'd send them to these countries to go out there and oppress their own people. And what you're seeing is that these police officers, they were more like a military police, just the way Nazi Germany had their military police. And the whole thing is called Project Condor. Project Condor was the project that was put together to oppress these countries throughout Latin America. So I'm going to continue with the video, but this is just to give you kind of like a run about where we're at right now with that. Okay, so let's continue, and we'll continue this video, and I'm going to continue showing you what's going on with this. So let's continue. So that's a real run on it. See, and this is like I said, right, all day. And they were doing this to men, women, and children. And what was happening with these women is that a lot of these women were protesting because their children and their husbands were disappearing, because the police would pick people up off the street and just make them disappear. And this is what happened during the time of Chile, right? So let me bring this on. So people are arming themselves, not with weapons, but with peace. They're talking up, they're bringing up a peace, you know, a peace reform where they're marching. As always, you know, people marching to try to do the right thing without violence. But of course, you know, America doesn't know peace. They don't know nothing but violence. That's why they do these kind of things. And so the interesting thing that, you know, it was a Christian party that was trying to do this. They were trying to bring peace by bringing the Christian faith, and, you know, as always, you know, Christians trying to do the right thing. But, you know, as we can see, that doesn't work for nothing. You know what I mean? These women that you're seeing is actual people that were there when this happened. So the guy who made the documentary actually went and interviewed these women that were there in the past and what they look like today in our time. So he was able to speak to these women of what they went through of Pinochet. That documentary thing that they're through the atrocities of Pinochet's time, of the dictatorship of this man. And see, this video footage of that time. And officers, this police controlled a state where they're on the streets and they're allowing nobody to protest, nobody to say nothing, and just stopping any kind of what they call insurgencies from the local people. And what the officers telling them is that they're bothering, that they're stopping the transits, that they're becoming a nuisance. That's what the officer is saying. And then she's telling him, hey, we're not offending nobody. And the officer's telling her, you know what, everybody go back to where you're coming from, get back, you know. And as you can see, it's the majority were women who were protesting. The reason why you see a majority of women protesting is because if they caught a man out there protesting, they'd immediately pick him up and make him disappear. You see? That's why you see so many women protesting, because the men were disappearing. They wouldn't protest because they know they would be murdered. She's saying that they were pursuing people, they were killing people, they were cutting off their heads to bring fear into people. Remember, this is 1970, this is 1980s and 70s. Said they would take men out of their homes and the women would not see them anymore, that they would disappear. This is an American implemented government into Chile, into the people of Naphtali. This is what these people went through from 1970 to 1989 or 1990, I believe. They would take away their protesting charts and stuff. So what they would do is they would write them on the ground for people to protest. They would write things on the ground because they would take away their banners, their protest signs and everything. And look at, they're throwing gas at the women, right? This is what the Chilean people went through. This is the tribe of Naphtali. That's the lady that's speaking right there. That woman that you see there, that is her right there in today's times. She was one of the fortunate ones that survived this time of Pinochet.
Pacifista, que no tiene nada que ver con los militares, para uno ver como una cosa que te dispara, uno no sabe si es una bomba de lacrimógena, van a disparar, ¿qué está pasando?
This is the people of Chile. These are Chilean brothers and sisters, the tribe of Naphtali, from 1978 to 1989, I believe 1990.
Y ahí es cuando los carabineros nos acorralan por un lado, nos acorralan por el otro, no podemos salir hacia ninguna parte, y nosotros nos afirmamos contra la muralla.
These are people who ran, these are women who ran to take cover, and this is what happened to them when they caught them.
Y ahí estamos, tenemos las manos limpias, ese era como nuestro lema ese día.
This is a sad moment for my Chilean people. You know, the people of Naphtali. I mean, you're not being able to reach to these people and you know, and try to help or say anything to help these people. The whole world was silent. Knowing this was going on, the United States refused to broadcast any of this in any of the countries of the United States. They preferred to let these people die in Chile than to help them.
Era tanta la cantidad de bombas que había niños en los departamentos de arriba, tuvieron que empezar a descolgarnos por las ventanas. Una cosa tremenda.
And these were working class people. These were people that were going to work, you know, their daily lives. They had homes, they had cars, they had businesses. These people had business. Esta gente tenía negocios, tenían carros, tenían apartamentos, una vida común como tú y yo tenía esta gente. Y así es como el gobierno americano fue y implementó su gobierno en Chile en esos tiempos de cuando Pinochet. Esos fueron los días cuando Pinochet entró como la persona que tomó posición ilegalmente de un país de la gente de Naphtali. Ellos son también de las 12 tribus de Israel. Y sin piedad ninguna, ni amor ni cariño, agarraban a la gente y destruyeron un país que era nada más que paz cuando el tiempo de Allende.
En este lugar nosotros teníamos veíamos un fondo, una suerte de
And that sign says we are more, because what they were trying to do is get people to realize, you know what, all of us together, we can actually do something. We're more than they are. But let me tell you something. The government, and I see us in UPK, we know it. How are you going to fight those who make the arms? How are you going to fight those who make the weapons, right? But women were brave, you know, sometimes braver than men are.
Claro, llegó un minuto en que ya no podíamos arrancar, porque además si te pillaban arrancando, era peor.
And these are those two women that were in that video that man filmed back in the 1970s.
Nosotros somos mujeres y nos paramos ese día a pelear aquí porque nuestros hijos tuviesen un día mejor.
When she says that the reason why they stood up is because they wanted their children to have a better life. That's what she said. So with that, I'm gonna pause it real quick, right? And you know, jeez. Sometimes it's even hard for me to watch this. You know what I mean? Because I mean, think about it. They're saying, you know, the reason that they went out there and protested is because they just wanted a better life for their children. You know what I'm saying? I mean, isn't that what we want today? We want a better life for our children. You know, we don't want our children to be by the teachings or the manipulation of a people, right? Bringing in homosexuality, bringing in, you know, hate between ourselves. That's the way we do. We want our children to grow up a little different. We want our children to grow in the mind state of, you know what, that we know the Most High, and that the Lord's going to come and take us from this prison that we're in. Porque es la verdad, ¿verdad? Lo que está pasando, que nuestra gente está simplemente oprimida. Nuestra gente es trabajando en los fields, en el calor, día y noche, ¿verdad? O esas horas, y pagando una miseria, ¿verdad? Vas a tu trabajo y también te tienen igual. Ellos ganan lo supremo y tú ganas lo menor. Tú apenas estás pagando tus biles, mientras que ellos están engordando sobre tu trabajo. Entonces, por eso mismo nosotros tenemos que ver que esta gente nos odia nuestros países, odia nuestro color, odia nuestro trabajo, nos usan como mano de obra para que ellos mismos salgan adelante. Lo han hecho desde 1492 y continúan haciéndolo hasta este tiempo. It's sad, man. Every time I watch this video, man, it puts a knot in my throat because I know what the Chilean people were going through. I swear, man, I do not feel that when I see the Jewish Holocaust in Germany. I feel something when I watch this and see that my people are going through this. The spirit that my people are going through, man, I can feel it to the heart. You know what I mean? It takes me, because I know that these are my brothers and sisters, and that this is something that we should all really be, you know, tender to, you know. And when I say that, I mean that we should have a heart for this. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue this story here, for you can see, you know, what it is that our people in Chile went through, because it's important, man. I had to bring this documentary out because, you know, our people went through so much. If you're watching with me right now, you know, we're going to go into a little bit more of the Chilean story and what happened during the time of Pinochet. If you're just joining me, you know, stay tuned. I'm going to be showing this video. I'm going to be relating this to all my brothers and sisters out there who don't speak Spanish. The video is in Spanish because it was made by a Chilean person who did this for his people. You know, this man had the spirit to go out and document what happened to his people. Just the way us in the ISUPK are doing the same today. We're out here bringing out the truth of what happened to the Black, the Hispanic, and the Native American Indian, and what happened to our people. If not us, who will speak for our ancestors, correct? So let's continue this story of Chile. Holocaust. And so let's go on here. Saying is that the government they into torture homes. They would say they were businesses for bringing in they decided to gather at the church. Now I want you to take note of this, right? And I'm going to bring it up a little bit. I'm going to let you watch some more, and then I'm going to interrupt it.
Y sentíamos que la no violencia, en cierta medida, era también el seguimiento de Jesucristo. Él no fue violento ni cuando lo mataron.
Now, okay, I'm going to pause it right there. That's where I wanted to get to. So let me bring it up here real quick because I want to bring this point out. So what that man is saying, and this is something that really why I wanted to touch this subject, is that he's saying that the reason why they were non-violent is because Jesus Christ was non-violent. He said that he was they decided to just do a non-violent movement because of the Christianity, because they're Catholics. So they decided, you know what, let's not be violent. Let's take this in a different stride. Let's do it peacefully. And this is the point that I'm going to make, because I'm going to bring this out. This is going to be real heavy, that the Catholic Church knew what was happening in Chile, and they refused to lift the voice to tell anybody what Pinochet was doing to these people. And these people were clinging to the Catholic Church, the Christian church, and the Christian ideals by saying, well, let's keep it peaceful. Let's keep it peaceful, even though they knew that that this country was being destroyed by who? By the Protestants. This that you're seeing, those same Christian ideologists that have implemented in all countries their ideology of Christian 1492, since the day the first Jesus ship came from Africa, so that Junipero Serra set foot on California with his missions and killed and murdered the Black, the Hispanic, and the Native American Indian, right? So let's continue in mind that these people are Catholics, and they're clean their salvation. Let's continue. And here we go.
Era como una guerra, aunque nosotros nunca ocupamos la violencia, y eso es lo que yo les daba más rabia, que nosotros nunca reaccionamos. Cuando alguien te pega de vuelta, cuando alguien te tira una...
So if you're watching and just tuned in, let you know that we're bringing of the tribe of Naphtali. It went through from 1989 or 1990, when Pinochet took over Chile and they destroyed the people from Chile. This is worse than the Holocaust that happened for the fake Jews. This really happened to the tribe of Naphtali in the city of in the country of Chile. And that's what my topic is today: the Chilean people and the atrocities that they went through. Shalom, Hernandez Luis. Nashak, Ashanti, thanks for joining. What I'm showing today is the atrocity that our people of Naphtali encountered. The police force you see there is the police force that America implemented into South America, Latin America, Mexico during the time of Operation Condor, which destroyed in the 1970s.
A mediados del 86, la valentía de estos chilenos provocó
This
que
is
cada vez sean más los que
1986.
se
This
unan al
footage is
movimiento.
from
Deciden
1986.
protestar frente al Palacio de la Moneda.
Once again, peaceful marches as always, right? They're trying to stop and saying, you know, let's stop the torturing, because they were torturing Chilean people. And you haven't seen it yet, but man, they're going to go into heavy of the torturing of the Chilean people.
Nos amarrábamos entre nosotros. Y al que habían tomado, ¿no es cierto?, lo llevaban, pero ciertamente otros más subían.
And what they were saying is they would take people, and what they would do is they would not let a person go by themselves. If they took 1, 3, or 4 would go with them because they knew they were going to make these people disappear. The Gestapo that Hitler had are those soldiers, the Chilean police department that Pinochet had in that time.
Sencillamente los carabineros cuando actúan así actúan con una cara impenetrable, ¿no es verdad? Están pareciendo casi como máquinas que tienen.
Did you see how they snapped him with that stick in the head? Because they had no compassion for people. Why? Because most of these people, even though you don't know it, were indigenous people in Chile.
Y me fui preso, una de las tantas veces. Yo siempre dije, mira, de las cosas que me siento más orgulloso de esa época dura, haber luchado de una manera pacífica contra...
This man was a survivor of that time. He was one of the lucky ones that made it past the torturing. It says in the jails of Chile, they torture people. And these are people putting the names of their loved ones and saying that they were tortured. He's saying how a lot of people died during the torturings.
Para que otros no solamente Carlos y yo pudiéramos tener esta vida, sino que muchos otros que yo.
And this was going on for almost 20 years. That's the thing that, you know, a whole decade of murder and torture and more than anybody's gone through. And once again, as you can see, the majority of them were women, because men, they were being murdered and children.
Muchas mujeres en Plaza Italia y comenzamos.
And the thing is that you see this today in Argentina, I mean in Venezuela, worst conditions that they put that country in. Once again, why? Because the country lifted itself up and decided that they were going to feed their own people, and that's not the way it works.
Traidores, cobardes, algo. Me picaba todo el cuerpo porque no era agua limpia lo que le tiran a un...
Oh, she's saying that the water that they're shooting at them is not clean water. It was water with sewage in it. So they were spraying them with sewage water. So if you think they're spraying them with clean water, that was not clean water. They made sure that the water they were using was sewage water.
Frente a las cámaras, como pidiendo ayuda del mundo para que vinieran a ver lo que estaba pasando en este país.
She said every time she saw a camera that they would yell to the camera, hoping that the world would be able to see what was going on.
De todas las mujeres que eran valientes, las mujeres que teníamos conciencia de lo que estaba pasando, de la violación de los derechos humanos, de los pisoteados que teníamos.
You know, the thing about Latin America is, my Latin American people have so much heart, right? they go through all this and they still have the, you know, I don't know where, but to smile and to have like that, you know, the way Mexicans are, Latin American people are.
Mujeres de distintos sectores que le dicen no a Pinochet. Fanny atrevió a dar la cara cuando se significaba arriesgar la vida.
That woman is doing, what they're saying is that very few people would stand up like that on top of a car or show their face as an individual because they knew they would be targeted.
Entonces me ocurrió subirme a un auto, no tenía idea que los autos quedan después bien heridos por aplastados.
And remember that the reason why these women are protesting is because their men have been murdered, their children have been murdered. And these women knew that it was time for them to speak up, and it was their turn to speak up.
Ven aquí, ven, súbete conmigo. Y le dije a otra compañera, no me acuerdo en este momento quién, que era el PPD, ven, y del Partido Radical. Y el pobre auto realmente quedó pésimo. Pero en fin, fue muy lindo. Y ahí fue un momento, hablamos de la unidad, hablamos de las mujeres, hablamos de la vida, hablamos de la libertad, porque estábamos ahí, y con un espíritu alegre, con un espíritu, ¿no?, de sentimientos buenos, de sentimientos nobles. Y entonces, bueno, llegaron los guanacos, y entonces tuvimos que salir.
That's right, Felipe. Las culturas. People don't know is that this same police department, this same police force that is doing the Chilean people is the same police force that was used at la Plaza de las Tres Culturas cuando los Juegos de las Olimpiadas during the Olympic Games, because that's why that happened, because of the Olympic Games were going to Mexico. And this is the reason why the local massacre happened, because the indigenous people of Mexico and the students and the poor people rose up and said, man, how do you have all this money to bring an Olympics to Mexico, but you don't have no money to help these poor people, to help these students, you know? And so what they did is, and I'm gonna put it on pause real quick because I'm gonna bring this out. Let me pause it real quick. And a point that Felipe Mejia just bring out, and I'm gonna kind of go on that for a minute because I bring that out before, right? The three cultures of the area of three cultures, La Plaza Mexico. So this police force is called is the name of the use. The police force that this was called Latina. Latina is the same police force that Mexico used in 19 culturas and murdered the students and the protesters. Mexico was about to set the 9th Olympic Games, and they had all this money to make this whole game, but they had no money for the poor people and no money for the or the indigenous people. So what did they? The answer, they hired this same police for 19 Mexico and massacred those people at that square. And that square is called the culture of three squares, the square of three cultures. Why is it called the square of three cultures? Because in that square is an ancient Mayan temple or Aztec temple. It's an ancient Catholic church or Catholic something, and then of course a newer building for the government in Mexico. That's why it was called the three cultures, because it involved Spanish culture, Aztec culture, and then it involved the Mexican, culture of today. So that's why they called it that square like that. And they massacred Mexican people on that square because these bastards hate people protesting. And let me tell you something. I want to think of the name of that president at that time, but it doesn't come to my mind right now because of all that's going through my head. But that president was a bastard also. He knew that that was going to happen, and he hired those people to go and do that massacre. And they people. So what you see the Chilean people are going through, our Mexican people went through the same thing in 1968. That's right, and they were U.S. trained. Like I said before, Felipe, you must have not seen, but I was saying that they were trained at what's known as the Escuela de las Americas, the School of the Americas, where they were training soldiers to go out there and oppress their own people. That's where these soldiers came from during the time of what was known as the Operation Condor. That was the assault on Latin America through the American government, through that special school known as La Escuela de las Americas, the School of the Americas. That was the Nazi camp, training camp for Latin America, and destroyed Latin America. Good point, Felipe, man. I knew about that, and I bring it out often, and I'm glad you bring it out. I'm glad to be able to speak on that because that's an important topic, relates straight to what's happening to my Chilean people right here. Herman Overstreet, I'm glad you logged in, man. Check it out. We're looking at with Julio Yashikar. We're looking at the people of our brothers of Naphtali, also known as the Chilenos. This is what they went through in the 1968 to the 1970s when Pinochet went into power and destroyed the people of Naphtali in Chile. And this is what the first but as you can see, people that these ways voting no matter what. That's what it was all about.
Democracia tiene distintos significados.
La definición no es ser otra cosa.
That's that French bastard right there, Pinochet. He says that that's democracy in their point of view. Who's democratic? Who's democratic? America. There it is, right there.
86, las armas de la paz y las armas de la guerra se enfrentan. Las señales auguran solo polarización.
That's what Chile looks like.
La cercanía de un regimiento. Nadie sabe lo que puede pasar.
Right?
Los sectores más radicalizados de la oposición no creen que Pinochet se vaya y se para la lucha.
What's happening in Chile is that there's a group of people who are going to rise up and try to take this man down, because at certain points people just get tired of it.
Uno de los más golpeados por la dictadura declara legítima la lucha armada contra el tirano y crea el Frente Patriótico Manuel Rodríguez.
Y en el año 83, el 14 de diciembre,
It is 1983.
se crea el Frente Patriótico Manuel Rodríguez. Es importante señalar esa fecha porque se crea el Frente más de 10 años después del golpe.
So the Naphtali to finally rise up in arms, and we're going to put a stop to what's happening to our people. That our people are not going to kill no more. We're taking back our country. We're going to go ahead and fight for it, because obviously, you know, it's not working. So what they're doing is they're stealing trucks and feeding the poor people. This is what that group decided to do. See? They decided they were gonna take different measures to overthrow this government that people. Same as it is today in Venezuela, people were starving, people were hungry because they were not getting water. The government was going to starve the poor people. But let me tell you something. There was a rich area in Chile. Now, give me 1 second. But there's always heroes, you know what I'm saying? That's right. We're going to be them heroes this time. We're going to be those ones.
Ahora, una acción de un grupo armado en plena dictadura
es como si nos hubieran pillado los fusiles y nos matan aquí mismo. O sea, ya era pasar, o sea, porque salir a gritar iba a caer, o salir a no sé qué, tocar cacerola.
And you see those men in the hoodies, those men with the guns. I mean, you know what? That's the kind of people we want to be. I mean, not violent. We want to be those people that help out, you know, to wake up our people to the reality of what's going on. Without that, we're nobodies. You know, we're just not those people.
Al lado del frente y al lado acá, y eran unos chicos con pistola. Nosotros. Yo estaba más cagado de susto todo. O sea, si los pagos le han de disparar a alguien, le han de disparar a alguien que esté con pistola. Entonces cuando llegamos allá, yo le digo, estos güeyes que nos van protegiendo.
Let me
O sea, estaban yendo a dejar.
before
Parece inclinarse a favor del régimen. El gigantesco arsenal encarrizado y al norte del país. Esas armas buscaban la fuerza. La razón en Chile.
someone dropped down and the weapons coming into Chile, the insurrection that was going to take, you know, and that's where I'm going to turn around real quick and get that in there, you know. Right, so that's what happened. You know, they were gonna go ahead and fight this war. They were gonna start a war against Pinochet, but you know, it never happened. The war was never able to flourish. Why? Because you know what? Of course, we know why. Because you know, we're in a state of punishment. That's what we're in. We're being punished for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. We're being punished. Why? To follow the way, to commandments, and that's why our situation is grave. That's why we are the way we are today, because we're going to get out of this by coming together as one wing, and he can come back, because vengeance is in the house. We are not to come back as one. Take that, and now I'm very with the Catholic Church, with the Christian Church. All those people had forgotten enemies religion, and they were adamant about being Catholics. They were adamant about being Christians. You know, they were hoping that the Pope would come to Chile and, you know, help them to mend this problem. They were looking for the answer in a man that hated them, the Roman Catholic Church. They're waiting for the answer from a people that are oppressed, destroy. They're the ones that the French are the same as the goddamn Romans, right? I mean, they're in the same area, you know. So they're looking towards the wrong people. That's why us as Israel, we have to understand that our salvation is coming from the Most High. Our salvation is not coming from man. Our salvation is coming, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, coming together as one family, and being able to get past this of worshiping other gods and following the ways of our oppressors. We have to come back to be who we were at the beginning, and that is Israel, Yasharallah, correct? So let's go on. I'm gonna bring in a little more, and let's find out what's going on. If you just join me, what we're doing today is we're going into what happened to our people of Chile, the tribe of Napthali, from 78 around there to 1989, 1990s, when they were oppressed by the through what Jewish people went through. What happened to these people? So let's continue.
El 87 no es cualquier año. Llegará el Papa y las esperanzas de todos los sectores estarán puestas en su visita.
So what he just said is that in a few months, I believe it's talking about the Pope is going to go visit Chile. Remember, this is after years, almost 15 years of them going through this. Now you're going to see the Pope come in here and do that. Echeverria Alvarez was the president during. Yeah, that's true. Actually, there was another president too. See, he's talking about the Pope is going to come and help us. The Pope is going to do something for us. See, that's the flag where they're honoring and welcoming Pope Paul II. And they're oppressing the people right there, as you can see. Because supposedly the Pope is going to come and save them. A lot of the men that you're seeing on this video were murdered and disappeared. So this woman here, I'm going to pause it for a second. This woman here was burned in the middle of the street by the military police, by the DINA, by those police officers. She was caught and she was burned as an example to everybody else. They let her burn on the street. She had left. Seems like she came back because the Pope was going to come and visit and help her. That's the Pope.
Juan Pablo II tiene una nutrida agenda que en pocos días lo obligará a visitar varias ciudades, reunirse con miles de chilenos y descubrir una realidad que no se imagina.
So what I'm pausing it for a second. What's happening here is that the Pope is on a tour of the world, and in his tour, he's about to go to Chile and visit Chile. And you know, the Chilenos expect him to, because they make it public worldwide, all his visits. So they're thinking that the Pope is going to go over there, and they're going to have a chance to finally be able to broadcast what's going on in Chile worldwide. Because remember, at this, nothing is being broadcast to the happening to the people of Naphtali.
Ese dice queremos libertad y paz. Porque hasta allá dice que si esta
because the Pope is there. All those signs, I'm pausing it, but all these signs are saying there's murder, there's death, there's torture in Chile, and they're asking the Pope to help the situation.
Nadie esperaba que se salieran del libreto.
Cuando llego allá al escenario, yo veo la carta que me entregan, el discurso,
and there's the Pope.
Y veo que falta lo que yo había hecho.
So I'm going to pause it real quick just to let you know. So what they're saying is that the Pope was allowing people to go in and speak that was happening in Chile. But what's happening is reading the notes or her letter that she made, she's noticing that the thing she was stronger in the letter being handed to the Pope. So the letters were being edited so that nothing would be said about the situation in Chile.
Entonces yo cuando leo el discurso que le falta, yo dije,
the tortures that are being held prisoners. She told me that she had to go ahead and pray. And she said, hey, you know, to help giving him props, but that they were also telling him that they were going to kill him for saying what he said. And that's him now.
Por un comando de la CNI y golpeado hasta perder el conocimiento.
He said he was beaten till unconscious. And he couldn't touch the walls because he said he passed out and he pretended he was dead. He went out. And one of the sergeants said he's dead. And he said he expected them to shoot him in the head.
26 años después, Mario Mejía cree que hablarle al Papa con el corazón fue uno de sus peores errores.
He said that, and I'm going to pause it here. He said that 26 years later, he realized that speaking to the Pope was a big mistake, the biggest mistake he could have made.
Atropellado por un vehículo sin patente, y él cree que es una tardía venganza.
And he says that his son was thrown in the street and run over by a vehicle, that he says that that was vengeance that they took against him. They killed his son and left for saying the things that he said about during the time of the dictatorship of Pinochett in Chile, and how the American government implemented to be the dictator to destroy the tribe. They were of the 12 tribes of Israel. That's what happened to the tribe of Naphtali. Cooper was, and look at that bastard. She's violent, man, more violent than she was, because he spoke. Says he is always.
Muchas gracias.
He said the only in this people a better life.
Pero así como
and see this now. This is I'm going to get into this right you know, because going through a lot, you know, I'm pretty sure that you know maybe we that he might feel of what happened to the blacks, the Aztecs and the black, for me to even, you know, like picture them, right? Like that I can we were still here. It's just a lot. This is my they where a document and not be touched by what's happening to these people, you know. So now is that Chilean types of people. There were those people that were indigenous, the poor people, the lower class, the people that and live there. Like I said before, you know, like I said, Mexico is not run by Mexicans, it's run by the Spaniards. Central America, El Salvador is not run by Salvadorian people. It's run by the Palestinian people. They run El Salvador. They're the government there. They're the rich people there. They're those people who hold positions in these countries. That's the reason why our countries are in the condition that they're in, because foreigners or heathens come into our countries and they take over our countries. And then how do we find ourselves? We find ourselves in a position where we're being murdered, destroyed, revolution, you know, famine. That's what happens to our people when these foreigners or these goddamn heathens and hold us as less and destroy our people, because the Lord, you know, they going through the same condition that these people went through in those times, and to not have a heart or people blinded to the atrocities that are being committed by a foreign nation, even against our own people, the black and the Native American Indian. And nonsense of separation between us, because we are one, we are Israel, we are Yasharallah, we are the nation that comes together. That's why it's important that we continue this. So right now, when you see this piece that's coming up, as we saw, the Chilean people were counting on the Catholic Church, we're counting on the Christians, just the way our people merged with these Catholics, and all they did was destroy us. Churches are the way they are. That's why are chewing. Why? Because we're embracing the way of people that's why we are in the condition that we're in. Let's continue. It's almost over, and you know, I don't know how much time I find let's continue and yeah. Of Naphtali tribe these tribes, well, you can go back and later on, but this is what happened to our people. We continue. And there's that bastard saying. See that? These are the sellouts. They think the president's beautiful, the Pope is beautiful. Most of these people were French people. Most of these people who live in Chile. While they poor people, that was the real. Here are the poor people. They were praying for peace. The way they were met. So what they did, what he's saying is that the police would all would but they were violent people, that these people were insurgents.
Gigantes fogatas, gigantes, porque eran como esas pilas de los tipis, de los indígenas, así parados con cuartones grandes quemándose. Y carabineros con sus micros y la gente. Ya me había lo que encontré.
And this bastard's over there talking while this is going on.
Pero la gente, como era tan masivo, la gente se le tiraba encima. Entonces le tiraban palos a entre medio de sus.
Now remember, it's dirty water and
muchos conflictos.
Hicieron los pobladores de humo, por el zorrillo, había mucho caos.
El amor es más decía. Está
This is the same thing that they went through.
Tenía sangre en el pecho, le habían tirado una bala a 1 centímetro del corazón. Ya, no sé.
Hay prensa herida, estaban las cámaras. Gente se echa un poco para allá, no va a pasar por encima. Sale la cana de agua.
This is what happened to our.
Por la parte de atrás salimos por ahí disparados, ¿no? Y ellos estaban formados así, se reían de nosotros, nos hacían los mariquitas y nos hacían cosas, así, alentados por el jefe de la patrulla, no sé, por el teniente. Bien. La transición.
The world was seeing while our people and definitely the monster, the Pope. He covered up the whole situation that was happening to the tribe of Naphtali. He covered up everything that Pinochett did, all the atrocities committed to the situation of what's happening to them in Chile to the world, because they knew that it was a national, it was a worldwide camera. They decided to go up there and tell the Pope, hey man, you know, we want to talk about what's happening here. So the Pope said, well, go ahead and speak about it. And now these kids are going to go up there in their youth, right? Because the man you're seeing earlier was this young man, but older. They're about to go and tell the world what's going on in Chile right now. That in Naphtali during the time of 1978 to 1998. Let's continue.
El documento que se entregó a la prensa, que era el testimonio del estudiante secundario, es un poco diferente a lo que está señalando Freddy Ormeño. Hay otros elementos y otros juicios que está él enfatizando.
So he's a student, and he was given a piece of paper to read.
Censura los discursos.
Saliéndose del intento que esté haciendo cosas, hacen como
That's he's showing that something.
El Papa está ahora de una unidad de la juventud chilena.
determinado a hacerse escuchar.
Con nuestra energía, expresiones de muerte y terror, para poder noche a noche por la vida. Gracias a tu padre.
To go up and not read, but to speak out.
Una felicidad de todo el mundo, todos los abrazados, la gente, toda la gente estaba feliz, porque sabían de que esto iba a salir en televisión, sabían que iba a quedar escrito, que iba a estar.
Everybody says everybody was happy because they knew it was going to be broadcast throughout the world on TV. The day that Chile spoke up.
No tengáis miedo de mirarlo a él.
En todas partes.
Oh, there's that white Jesus.
La gente se manifestó. Los estudiantes, las mujeres, los pobladores, los trabajadores. No hubo lugar en Chile donde no se le dijera al Papa, estamos viviendo en dictadura y esto se tiene que acabar. Y quería, el pueblo quería y la gente quería que se hizo. Nunca se promovió la dictadura.
And I'm saying is that everybody was hoping that the Pope would have some kind of compassion to what was going on in Chile, and that he would say something in national TV, people of Chile, and put an end to what she's saying is that he never spoke out, spoke for what was going on. He obviously left Chile and we forgot that that we were supposed to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And what happened? Well, this is what happened. This is what happens when we go off. Once again, like always, you know, we were meant to be, we were meant to live under the laws of the Most High, and we've chosen to move away from it, right? So I'm gonna go back and show a little bit more of this. It gets a little bit more interesting. I'm gonna go into some of the atrocities. This man that we're about to see is going to speak about some of the torture chambers that spun up all over Chile, murdered dictatorship of Pinochet against the people of Napthali, and right to this image. Let's continue. I say years and no one's ever, you know how they haven't seen their children, they haven't seen their husbands.
17 años de la dictadura, 23 años de democracia siguen olvidadas. El chivo inédito por primera vez sale a la luz.
That people are saying this has to come out on TV. This has to come out on TV.
Aquí, porque uno se protegía. Bueno, y nos detuvieron y nos mataron.
Reconstituimos la historia de quienes fotografiaron y filmaron la dura trama de esos años, y también la de quienes protagonizaron esos días dolorosos.
Those are children that disappeared, families that disappeared. That's the woman that was burned.
Y son así. Mi cuerpo se transforma en una llama humana.
Son imágenes que recorrieron el a las personas tras señas, revivimos su memoria. La fuerza de su crudeza aún nos sorprende.
This is the plight of Napthali. This is what our tribe Napthali went through.
Estamos combatiendo contra la dictadura con piedra y un milico que ha votado. Y ahí el cura nos cuenta esa posibilidad.
Era una guerra de piedras contra tanques, contra balazos.
Aquí se estaba matando gente, se estaba haciendo desaparecer gente, no había libertad de expresión. Y era un grito muy profundo, una necesidad muy profunda de luchar por la libertad.
A la luz de las imágenes que logramos rescatar, recordamos los tormentosos años tras el golpe de Estado. Son registros fragmentados, historias de vida, dolor y muerte de chilenos anónimos que revelan fielmente lo que aquí ocurre. Aquí comienza Chile, las imágenes prohibidas.
Right? Man. So that's what it was like, you know, for the Chilean people during their time. You know, now you see that everybody's gone through something. The Mediterranean people, blacks, Native Indians. But let's see what happens to these people during the time of their torture.
Ese día, el fútbol se dio el protagonismo, el miedo y la incertidumbre.
Este estadio que fue hecho para unirnos, para reunirnos.
So he's saying that that stadium was supposed to be where, you know, people were united to you know, do their football games, and in reality it became a place of torture for these people. And this is what it was like for them.
Que estamos bien, que no se preocupen.
They took a state and turned it for
mucha tristeza, solo de uno.
So not sadness for himself, but partners that
En ambos lados. Está escondida. Yo me ubicaba por ahí.
he's talking about his experience being in there with all those prisoners.
Aquí dentro también había mucho temor. Acá, si fuerte en la noche, se bajaba el helicóptero y disparaba.
He said that it would speak too loud. They would shoot bullets into. They would shoot shots into the areas.
Siéntese. Una mesa de escritorio. Un militar más, yo no.
Richard Elías Mesa más.
Creo que detrás de otro par milico. Detrás mío estaban más masivamente los militares.
So I get the men, they just interrogate them.
La cosa es que yo supongo que ha sido de los más exportables.
Argentina nos lleva de filo, controla la asistencia de clase, a las reuniones y los tiene controlados.
Yo no pude decir, o sea, el temor mío también estaba aún ahí, que aquí habían habido heridos y que lo vi sangrándose. Lo único que vi fue un milico que lo sacó hacia arriba, pero nunca más lo vimos.
He's saying how
noticia de nada. ¿Hasta cuándo? Son 12 días, por Dios. No podemos soportar más.
And of course, they're crying because their husbands would disappear. You know, they take them in and then they wouldn't see them no more. Those are the women running to the stadium to try to find their men. That she wanted.
A mi hijo, que no sabe nada. O no, porque ya sabía que estaba ahí dentro.
Yo no soy político. No tengo
político.
Tener a mi hijo adentro.
¿Algún partido político?
No.
Nada,
Estaba ahí el periodista español.
This is the same. And I'm gonna pause it there for a second because I want to interrupt. We're watching it straight through, and so let me interrupt for a second here. And so what we're seeing here is and like I said at the beginning, I was going to show this because it kind of relates to the same thing that happened in Germany, right? The same situation also happened to these people in Chile, the tribe of Napthali. As you can see, they're interrogating this young man, and they're making him sign off. One of the questions they asked him is, is your father in a political party? Is he related to any political parties? You know, this is the measure that they took to ensure of the tribe of Napthali. Here, through this system that they have implemented, what they call democracy in that country, but it was just a dictatorship all over again, you know. And as you can see, like I said before, I wanted to bring it out and show what happened to explain sometimes, but I'm glad I was able to find this video so that the people watching this can see firsthand what happened to these people, what happened to this country. This country was destroyed. People they were destroyed. And the reason why I bring it out is because, you know, like I said, it's kind of hard to go back to 1492, hard, but it's not hard to go back 1980, 1989, see that the Most High kept this footage for future, how these people that Naphtali's gone through. It's sad, but it's true that our people are the people that go through this all the time, destroyed by a nation that by heathens nations. That's why we're in the city. I wanted to what the video is, so you guys can go on and take a look at it by yourself calmly, because there's a lot. I'm not showing it all. I'm going through little set of what it is, because it's important that we know the history of our people, of our countries, you know, and of our tribes, of the 12 tribes of Israel, so that when we go out and we speak on our brothers and sisters, that we know that we can bring out atrocities that happen to them, to show that, you know what, that we know what we're talking about, and that we study our history, and that the Isupk is that school that holds tight to that history. You know what I mean? I mean, this is what happened to the tribe of Naphtali. This is what happened to these people. And, you know, I could go on. There's a lot to see here. I'm going to show a little bit more before I of course advise everyone about the atrocities that happened to the tribe of Naphtali, because like I say, like I always say, man, you know, we're not gonna sleep on it. We're not gonna sit here and let this thing happen, go by without taking notice, right? And let's see, let me continue here. Let me bring out the last story before we continue, because I want to be able to show this. Okay, so let's go on here.
Pero con esto, porque era mi hijo dentro, pero me hacen contra. Su padre,
let's go.
Es aquí donde abundan los tanques y militares y los controles cuadro tras cuadro.
Lo que pasa, por favor, es una extranjería sin nacionalidad.
Si podemos hablar, ¿de qué nacionalidad?
Yugoslavia, sí.
Imposible saber qué fue del muchacho que aquí aparece, si está vivo o está muerto.
Say that young man disappeared. It's impossible to know what happened to him. They had him in the back of the truck. They took him, and they never heard from him again.
Algunos fueron encontrados y otros aún, pero a los pocos testigos de los primeros meses.
Que acá,
so that's the river.
Una especie de represa que atajaba los árboles, las ramas. Y ahí yo podía ver estos cadáveres que realmente había un movimiento como de remolino.
Oh,
pues
wow.
De repente aparecía una mano, de repente aparecía un pecho de una mujer, de repente aparecía una cabeza.
He said that the river, dead people
algo bien siniestro.
Floating past them, killing people and then dumping them into the river. in Germany all over again.
Cualquier sospechoso es detenido. Pero en estos días todos son sospechosos.
That everybody was suspicious. Neighbors would turn people in.
Se buscan cómplices.
Otro error, impotencia, porque pusieron unos jeeps con unos cañones inmensos apuntando ahí a los departamentos. Yo no sé si se le dispara por casualidad.
But you know, you can look at all these military arms, and you know where they're coming from. All funded by another. He said that they went and
los piquetes militares se coordinaron desde la madrugada y entraron simultáneamente a todas las torres. Empezaron a llenar desde los edificios superiores.
They were going home through home, taking people.
Qué sé yo. Mi mamá tuvo que romper, triturar un disco que estaba autografiado por Violeta Parra. Imagínate que sea para Sonia de Violeta.
Destroy their furniture, destroy their papers.
Una vecina que era una viejita, una abuelita igual que yo, a ella le ayudé yo a tirar libros al incinerador.
They were burning books, she says.
No se podía hablar con los soldados, porque los soldados venían de aquí, los llevaban por otro lado, del sur llegaban acá. Esos hombres no habían dormido.
She says the soldiers weren't local soldiers, they were bringing soldiers from other places. And that's what was going on. They bring, that's what the school of the
Todo revolucionado.
¿Cómo iban colgando sábanas a medida que iban allanando?
So they would wave that they cleared out the different levels of the apartment buildings.
Hay miles de escudos para quienes sobre los cabecillas de la Unidad Popular.
So they were giving money away.
Los franceses son
Qué bueno. Hacía tiempo que sabíamos nosotros de
The French people were turning in, these bastards were that area being burned.
En otros lugares.
Sacando y
Siquiera. Venían de la idea de nada.
So that's burning books, pulling people out there. They were being found in the river, floating dead. That was the plight of the people of the tribe of Naphtali in Chile. This is what they went.
Esto no lo mira. Estaban los militares por aquí, los jeeps, los armamentos y los piquetes.
This is the same thing that happened in Hitler's side, but it happened to the Chilean people.
Il ne faut pas parler des soldats. Je parle français aussi. Très bien.
This guy's friends.
Qué triste.
Man.
Pero ¿qué nos dicen con sus miradas los chilenos tras el golpe?
Esto
Let me go ahead and turn the camera around.
Había mucha gente, pero era total. Ninguno de nosotros se hubiera imaginado que algo iba a pasar así con la moneda. Y luego porque tú no sabías si el que estaba al lado tuyo te iba a dar razón y te iban a tomar preso algunos agentes que andaban de civil ahí.
So people lived in fear, thinking that they were going to get turned in by the French people, by those people that live there.
Bueno, a los que se atreven y pueden salir a la calle.
People wouldn't even go outdoors, they said.
Había puesto chaqueta, me había cortado el pelo, venía el brazo y vino de la mano, simular aquí debajo, fotos rápidamente sin tratar de llamar la atención.
He took these pictures.
Uno de los balcones por donde entró, uno de los cohetes que lanzaron. Es de una extraordinaria violencia. Yo no recuerdo otro episodio en la historia de un país en que se haya ejercido tanta violencia. Solo esto se ve en las guerras mundiales.
Or seen anything like that. So let me. So man, well.
El francés Bruno Muel llegó a Chile con credenciales falsas de un canal de televisión inglés. Así, logró grabar imágenes que más tarde se convertirán en el documental Septiembre.
So, man, all right. So that's what happened in Chile. It's already 9 o'clock. I'm a little bit past my time here. I didn't realize what time it was. I was so much into watching this video. You know, I'm glad everybody tuned in. I'm glad you watched. This was the plight of my people of Chile and what happened to the Chilenos in the early from the late 1970s to the early 1990s. You know, this is what happened to the tribe of Naphtali. I tried to get in and explain some of the stuff in English. Most of it is in Spanish. You know, the video is in Spanish because the Chilean people, they made this video for no one would forget the atrocities that happened to these people. And people, and then I came into the truth and I realized that this is, you know, this is what happened. Plight of the people of Naphtali. You know what happened when they came here on the ships? They landed in 1492. You know what happened to the American Indians when they came here and took their land? The Mexican Indian in California, as I explained, of the the gold rush era, what they did, atrocities they committed on the and Indian of the northern area of America, or Mexico, northern Mexico. And now you know what happened to the Chilean people over again. You'll realize that the atrocities committed to the Naphtali was just as bad as any atrocity committed onto any of the tribes of Israel. Their plight is heavy. They've gone through a lot. They've seen their plight and just an atrocity committed on these people. It's a sad documentary to watch. Unfortunately, it's in Spanish. I wish I could translate it all. I did my best to translate it today and just give some insight on what happened to the tribe of Naphtali. This is super important. I'm glad everybody took the moment to watch this. Those who couldn't stick around, it's all right. You can go back and watch this video. Those who stayed to the end of this show, I appreciate your time and support for watching the show. As always, I'm Kazakh Yad. I'm here to bring out the history of Latin America. I'm here to bring out the atrocities that happened to our people. I touch on the Salvadoreños, the Guatemaltecos, the Hondureños, the people of Mexico, the people of Chile, Brazil. You know, of course, I try to touch on Argentina. I swear, next. You know, and bring as much history as possible to give insight to all my people in the ISUPK of what happened to us and what happened to my Latin American brothers. I always say, you know, the American dream is the Latin American nightmare. Today, we still live that nightmare. We're still here living that nightmare. Thank you for joining me. Remember, every Wednesday, I'm here with this class, teaching the Latin American history, trying I can what happened to my people. The Passover is coming up. I'm inviting everybody and join us at the Passover. Watch this video from the beginning. Thanks for share video. Log in into YouTube Latino ISUPK Latino America YouTube.com. You know, sign up, subscribe to watch for Latin American history on my matters. You're Latino, you're a Black, you're Native American, Indian. History is for us. This history is for us to share. This history is for us to recall. This history is for us to tell our children that we don't forget and uphold what happened to our ancestors and speak to those who can't speak this time. We are the ones that are going to bring this truth out and bring our people to what for what they've done to the Black. Watching for more of the ISUPK Latin American channel, and once again to all Israel, thank you for watching. Stay tuned next week. I'm here. Thanks for watching. Shalom.